In terms of safe zones, is that what you're thinking
I'm
of?
thinking, well, in response to the hate-free zone that's been there on our campus, but also what would be kind of more substantive responses to creating a genuinely safe space and a safe community that's kind of broader than just campus life, possibly too.
You know, you're really talking about difficult work to do. You know, it's not, okay, let's name 5 places that, you know, any of us can run to and call a safe zone and say no problems anymore. I think safe zones end up becoming a way to avoid the question of violence, often. That, I'm not saying they're a bad thing, but the engagement is really about what constitutes safety for vulnerable populations, and often that's not addressed by having 5 places you can go, but by changing the agenda of a university and taking it on that way, taking it on that big, so that you're not reduced to a physical space as an answer to violence, but you can really take on the question of violence and vulnerability. So I think that there are things that can be done, like safe spaces and like gender neutral bathrooms in every single building, and training for people, and etc. I mean, I don't think those things are worthless, but if you're not engaged in a conversation about what safety means for different populations and why certain groups of people are not safe here, then you're not having a real conversation about violence that needs to happen that will really be transformative. And it means that the administration can get off lightly with doing a few tokenized things that then 2 years later, a new administration comes in and wipes out the tiny thing that you got. So, you know, it really, it's like, you might as well take on the big thing. And, you know, when you're a negotiator, you don't start small. Really, nobody ever wins when you say, I'll just take a little teeny thing here. I'll take 1 bathroom. You know, it's like, fuck you. I want a bathroom. I want my names on every floor. Now you tell me what you're going to give me. And if you're not giving it to me in a week, I want to tell you that this is what's going to happen. I mean, it's a negotiating skill is to try and figure out what your vision is and what you really want. Start from what you really want and then negotiate. Don't start from what you'll settle for and then get nothing. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your time. The only other thing that I would end with is, it has been my experience in almost every setting, university setting, over the years that I've done these talks with, is that people do not take seriously building relationships with the towns they're in. And because people don't do that work, and I know it's complicated, because I know that campus, there's huge turnover. People only stay for a certain number of years. People leave, etc. But the fact that the campus can be isolated from the reality of where it's sitting makes you more vulnerable, and it makes the community that surrounds you not an ally. They don't see you as a place that's theirs. They see you as a place of other. And I think, you know, it's often evident when you have like a ruling class institution, you know, like you have Harvard or Columbia and Harlem, you know. But most places do not take on the question of building alliances to support the issues that really matter in the community at large, not just the campus, as part of the work. And I think you would find that, I mean, you need to affect everybody in order to affect a public education agenda. Not just whether the students on this campus agree with you, but whether this state agrees with you. So why not start where you are and begin to build the connections to the places that would be natural allies and have everything to win from working with you What that demands, though, is that you gotta have people's back when they got yours. You gotta show up when people have an agenda that's different than yours, your set of priorities. Because if you're only there when you need something, people don't show up twice in a row. So I would say that just because it's been clear to me in campus work that people don't figure out how to build relationships with the communities that they are living within. And so the campus becomes even more isolated and can easily be targeted because people don't really care what happens to it and whether it survives. Okay.